Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Melissa. Thank you so much for joining me here today. And for today's video, it's going to be kind of a fun one. Well, I should say it's going to be fun, but it might be a little bit of a process. I have my turtles here, my string of turtles. For those that don't know the story behind it, so I had it hanging in my window. It was doing phenomenal. So long, so beautiful, so full. I just love this plant so much. And it got ants. It got an ant colony in it. And I had to prop the entire thing. I tried to soak it, and it was in a substrate that held on to too much water, and the entire thing rotted. So it just I started losing turtle shells. The entire thing was rotting, every single strand. It took hours, you guys, for me to untangle it, get rid of the ant colony, and I stuck all the strands that I possibly could into this container here of sphagnum moss. I have so much new growth on top now. This is all the length of my turtles that I have left. I'm still losing turtle shells everywhere, so there's probably gonna be a lot of shells coming off. But I watered this the other day, so the moss is very hydrated. I was wanting to do this when the moss was fully wet so that the roots wouldn't stick to it as much. I'm gonna try and remove as many strands as I can from here and plop them back into a new pot. I bought this pot specifically at Target because I knew I wanted to pop my turtles into this, but now that I'm looking at it, it's a little small. If they still have it in stock, I'll check. I'll put a link for this down below if you're interested, but it's so stinking cute. I just felt like that would be the perfect pot to put this in. I also have this little salad tray of turtle shells here. I threw all the random shells in here, and I'm sure a lot of them probably have rotted. It's just like a bunch of mush in here. Like, I have so much rottedness going on. But I do have some new turtle growth up top. So I'm just gonna pluck a few of these strands and probably just toss them in here with these. Or I might just make a separate little planter up. I'm not really sure, but this entire thing is just basically rot. Minus whatever is on top. So we'll see what we can save or salvage. I wasn't gonna save any, these are literally just the turtle shells. I wasn't gonna save any of them, but I had so many. They're basically, let me show you. I don't even know if there's that many roots. There's basically one turtle shell, and it grows a lot of tiny little shells off of the main one. So you can prop these with the actual shell. So yeah, we'll see what we can do with this. So the only thing that this planter doesn't have is a hanger. So I'm gonna make a little DIY plant hanger with some string, and this little thing here is gonna act as like a little bead. I'm gonna do, so I'll show you how to do that. I figured this would be a fun little DIY to include if you wanna make like a little plant hanger yourself. So we're gonna see how it turns out. And then I also have my cart beside me that you can't see. It has all of my potting supplies on it that I will need. And then I also have my soil mix here on the table beside me. I need to make a new batch. I'm getting kind of low. It's just my normal chunky mix. The only thing that I really need are what I'm gonna do first. And I'll probably end up just skipping over this part so that you guys aren't just watching me spend 30 plus minutes taking moss off the roots. It's literally just gonna be me like plucking the moss off until I can get a pretty good amount of it off, because I don't want too much moss like potted up into here. But I wanna see what strands I can salvage. I don't think I'm gonna be able to untangle this mess at all. We'll see what happens, but literally all this new growth is all new since being in moss. I wish I could just take this and plop it in here without having to undo the moss, but I don't think I can. And I don't know how many roots are actually on these strands. Like, I don't know how many roots I have, but I feel like it's time. I'm ready to get these potted up and just like get it back hanging in my window where I can get the good light. I have so many strands just like falling off still. Yeah, and it's just, I can just shake it and they're all like falling. So that's the plan for today's video. So I'm gonna get a little bin so we can start untangling the moss and we'll get started. I'm gonna put my hair up. My husband's on his way home. He went out to do a few errands and he called and asked if I wanted a coffee, and I'm like, of course I want coffee. So he's gonna, I told him just a small coffee because it is like 2:30 or so. All right, I have my little container and all I'm basically gonna do is just kind of go like this and squeeze. Again, this moss is soaking wet. I just wanted to make sure that it was really hydrated before I try and pluck this away. And again, like, I don't know how rooted this is. I feel like there should be enough roots to go ahead and pot this into soil, but we shall see. The roots are very, very thin and delicate, really, really thin. So I'm definitely just gonna have to take my time with this and just start plucking away. I honestly wished I had not used moss. I think in that moment, at that time though, I guess because I've had better luck with moss, rooting string of things, but now that I've found stratum, I wished I would have stuck these in stratum, honestly. I feel like I do have a lot of roots, except they're very, very fine. If I'm meeting resistance, then I don't pull anymore. I just try like a different area. And it will eventually loosen. But regardless, when you're working with moss, you're going to be pulling some roots. It's just how it is with moss. Thank you. You're so sweet. Oh, you got a grande. That's okay. What do you want? A small? That's okay. Thank you. Give me a kiss. So that's kind of what the middle is looking like there. So I'm just going to continue to pluck away, and some of the strands, they don't have a lot of roots, just like barely anything, but it's okay. I think it'll still do fine in soil. There are like barely any roots. I am in over my head. What is this tangled mess here? I was really trying to keep it even, or to keep it from being tangled. I don't know what's going on. It's a mess. I just like let go accidentally, and I was trying to keep all the ends at one side, but like, what is this? I thought I was going to like be able to separate the strands from one another, but I feel like so much new has grown in. It's just like all tangled down here, and now I don't know what to do. Because I can't pot like this entire chunk down in there, you know, because I have to kind of separate now. And so much new has grown around and entangled everything. Well, here's a piece that I saved. This piece has barely any roots. So I have like moss on one side, and then I have some strands with some roots. I'm just going to pluck some here to kind of keep them untangled. And then, yeah, we'll do our best. I don't want to like pull too much because then I'm going to lose a bunch of shells in the process. So pretty much all the shells have just a tiny root system like that. So I'm just going to like remove some of the bottom shells that are going in soil, and then I'll be planting like this in down into soil. What I actually might do as like I untangle, maybe I'll go ahead and plant at the same time, just so that I don't like tangle this again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some of my soil down in here. I feel like once I start to loosen this more, it's going to come off easier. The string of turtles is more like a ground cover, so the root system is very, very shallow. So having a pot, a more shallow pot is important. This is a little bit deep, but not terribly like deep, so it'll be okay. And it's gonna fill in nicely in here. So I filled a good way up with soil. I would say like 3/4. And before I add strands in here, I'm gonna go ahead and add some fertilizer. I used Osmocote Plus all last summer. My turtles grew like crazy, so I'm just gonna stick with Osmocote for this. I'm gonna mix that in here. All right, and then with our strands that we have done, we are just going to basically take our strand and stick it down in here. And we're gonna just do that all the way around the pot. And we'll kind of like fill up over top. I need a little bit more soil. I filled quite a bit more in here because I'm going to try and push them in as I lay them in here so that they don't come back up. And then I can add like a second layer all the way around once I kind of go around the pot some. I think this will be the plan. So let me move this a little bit here. Okay, we have a few rooted strands here. We're going to plop them down. I am going to be burying some shells under the soil, but that's okay. And then strands that don't have a lot of shells, I'm not gonna use, because I don't want like a bunch of bare vines. It would look cute all down like one side too, like cascading down one side, but I'm gonna do it around the pot. Yeah, I'm just gonna continue to work, untangle, and then just fill around the pot here, and that's pretty much it. I honestly have so many loose shells. Maybe I'll just add and do like another prop vessel, but I don't know. It might not. I just don't know what to do with all the extra shells. Literally so many extra shells. Okay, so this is what I have here. I have to fill with soil and make sure I really tuck these into the soil well. I pulled a little bit of shells off and laid some on top. I don't think I'm going to be saving this. I don't know, because I have some other strands here. None of it was really rooted, and they're like stringy, so they're missing a lot of shells. I think just from some of the strands not rooting, and I have so many like extra shells that are just shells. So I don't know if I want to bother with that or not. I might just decide like after filming if I want to even prop anymore. I think maybe some of the longer strands I might maybe just like try and prop some of them. But for the video, I'm not going to do anything else with these. And then we're just going to go ahead and fill up here. All right. Ooh. I'm just going to have to be very careful with this because nothing's really rooted that well in here. So like picking this up, I'm just gonna have to be very careful. So I'm just gonna take my little tool and just like really push the soil down in here. I don't think I'm gonna be able to like shake that too much. And any like super chunky bits, I'm just kind of taking off. What I do is kind of lift some strands up and really get in there with the soil on the edge. I want to try and get as much soil as I can in here. I'm going to be burying a lot of the shells on top underneath the soil, which is totally fine. Any new growth will come out from the soil. My goal is just to get everything covered. And it'll fill in nicely on top too once it starts growing better. Let me give you guys a closer look at me filling this up so you can see a little bit more closely. Hopefully you can see a little bit closer. So yeah, I'm just like lifting up here and really pressing soil down and filling. It's probably gonna be very tedious, but I just really want to make sure that this is filled in all the little gaps in here. Oh shoot. Once I water it, it'll settle a little bit too, but I just wanted to make sure that everything was filled up around the edge, so I don't have like a gap and that most of the roots are covered. And I imagine some strands will probably dry up and not make it, and I'll probably lose some shells until it kind of establishes in here. All right, I think that looks good. So all we have to do is make our little hanger and water this in. I wish it was still as full as it was, but it's gonna fill in nicely. That's so stinking cute. Oh my goodness, that's so cute. Look at that. I will have my turtles back in no time. It's still pretty full. For as much lost as I've had with this plant, I'm like very happy. I do have a drainage hole on the bottom, which I'll water it again and let it drain through all the way. But I want to get our hanger made first so that I don't damage these strings. I'm going to show you guys how to do the plant hanger. So I just cut some cord. I just got this at Michael's. It's just a rope ribbon. I guess you can get, I mean, you can use anything that you want. And then I'm going to take one of these beads here. I think, oh shoot, that's how I want to do it. And again, I got this at Michael's too. I got this a while ago. It was in my craft drawer. So I didn't measure this string, but I think it'll be long enough. And then, so you want to just take your string, like the two ends, just tie them together. Okay, that's pretty tied, so I'm going to cut the extra off. So you have a string however long that you want to hang it. I don't know how it's going to work with my turtle pot because there's too many like strings. I'm going to try and make it work. Okay, something like that. And then to add the bead, you're going to take a little bead with a hook. You want to hook the string and you're going to feed it with a little hook through here if you can, like a little paper clip. Kind of a little pot holder like so. Yeah, it's a little confusing. So I basically have to figure out how to get this inside of the turtle pot. It's cute though. I just don't know how to do it with the pot. You know, in my head, this was going a lot easier as planned, and I keep losing hundreds of shells. I think trying to film it is making me anxious because I think I just don't know what I'm doing. Okay. Now before I tighten this all the way, so that's where the pot goes, like right here, I am going to try and sit the turtle in the middle. Somehow. Like get each one of his little paws in here somehow. Uh-oh. Wait, did I get it? Oh, I think I got it. Okay, it is very unsteady. That was pretty rough, you guys, I'm not gonna lie. And I feel like it's gonna be very lopsided. So I'm gonna take one of these little, trying to feed this through here again. Okay. But that's kind of how it is, if that looks, it's like a DIY hanger, I guess. Again, I feel like I don't really trust this thing. It is a turtle war zone. I've used 3 batteries. It's taken forever, you guys. I can't tell you how messy this is. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I have the turtle hanging back up. It's in the little DIY planter cord thingy. And I trimmed it so it's sort of even. I'm not gonna mess with it. I'm gonna leave it like that. I'm just gonna water it when it's mostly dry, and I'm just gonna let it chill. And that macrame cord is just gonna have to do for now. I hope it stays and it doesn't come tumbling down. That was probably a really bad idea. I probably should have just put it back in the pot like these because I had an extra one. You know, if I end up switching up the cord, then I will, depending on how stable I think that is. I don't think it's very stable, but we're gonna leave it for now. We're just gonna leave it and let it chill. And I may eventually, once it kind of grows into the pot, maybe I'll get a different cord for it. But yeah, I'm gonna clean up this mess. I'm over the turtles at this point. Yeah, it's just, it was kind of chaotic there towards the end. But I hope this was somewhat enjoyable for you guys. And hopefully you understood what I was doing with that plant hanger. It would have been a lot better if I didn't have 1,000 strings dangling everywhere. It would have been so much easier. But I hope you enjoyed anyway, and I'll keep you updated on the turtles and how they're doing. But thanks for watching and being here, and I will talk to you guys later.